New York newspaper, a rival to the New York Times, that did go out of business. I can't remember when it went out of business, probably in the 60s or 70s, but it had all the major writers wrote for this paper. And Chesterton wrote a weekly column in the 1930s specifically for an American audience. So these are really particularly interesting articles, because he wasn't just writing about England, he was writing about America. And some of the articles that I found there were just particularly fitting for our subject today. So I'm going to not just simply quote Chesterton here, I'm going to actually read you a couple of essays. But they're short, okay? So I'm going to start out my comments by reading an essay, and I'll finish by reading an essay. I might stick with it in between, too. But this is from 1933. And Chesterton says, "The historians of a future time will probably describe the present time as the psychological age. In the matter of the mere selection of a word, it's a little odd, for the word consists of two words, the first being psyche, or the soul, and the second word being logical. And this is perhaps the only period that has been crowded and cluttered up by behaviorists and materialists and monists, shouting that there is no such thing as the soul, and also with pragmatists, vitalists, and relativists and the rest, all saying that nobody need bother to be logical. It is rather a desperate period in which men deny both the spiritual and the rational guide to life. It is nonetheless true that they have developed a sort of guide of their own, which may be called the psychological guide to life. I have expressed it by calling it the psychological age, as we might call the 18th century a philosophical age, or the 13th century a religious age. But it can be better expressed by saying that in the last period, the mind was studying the mind instead of studying the truth." Now let me touch on that terribly delicate matter, the relation between truth and trade. The real recent view was quite as contrary to the common sense commercial view as it was to the remote religious view. Medieval men, as we have all been taught, went in for some mystical moonshine called the just price. They were so bemused by superstition